Welcome to DC Music Rocks. The Washington, D.C. region has one of the best local music scenes in the country. We're shining a spotlight on its great songs and incredible people. Tune in, jam on, rock out. I'm your host, Brian Nelson Palmer, and with me today is Heather May.
Hello.
God, it is such a treat to have you here. I have literally been looking forward to this for like 2 months ever since we confirmed this. Thank you for being here.
I'm so happy to be here, Brian.
This is cool. All right. Now, if they haven't heard of you, how would you describe yourself?
I am a social justice, mental health advocate, singer-songwriter in the pop singer-songwriter category.
That's like so many titles.
It's so many titles. It's a lot of titles.
That's seriously. And did all of that happen? Well, wait a minute. I want to save that for the interview because I want to find out more about this. But
totally.
For those of you if they haven't heard of your music, what's three big name artists that they might have heard of that you've been compared to if they haven't heard of you?
Sarah Bareilles is the most well-known that I get compared to. Ingrid Michaelson, Regina Spektor. Those are like the three that I most often get compared to.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, I've been listening to your music for more than 2, maybe 3 years at this point, but I'm so excited that I've got you here so that they can get to know you too, because this is, oh man, this is cool. So on our show today, we've got some news from the DC music scene to start off with, and then we have great music by DC artists to share. And of course, we have a very special interview with Heather May. Now, and I should note, Heather May is spelled M-A-E.
Yes, it is.
So it is not the month, it's the May.
Exactly.
I don't know. Ooh, that's like a hashtag. I'm going to use that on the show. It's not the month, it's the May.
I like that.
We'll see. Anyway, all right. 3 quick reminders as we get started. If you haven't already, 1, subscribe to the DC Music Rocks podcast, and hit that subscribe button in your podcast app. I really appreciate that. 2, tell a friend who likes music about us. Every one of our thousands of followers found us almost entirely upon word of mouth. So I'm honored and overjoyed to be your best source for the scoop on DC's music scene each week. And thanks for sharing the word about me. Number 3, sign up for the email list. Every week we're finding all these great events and shows, this news, these guests, and this great music. Let us email it to you so you don't have to go looking for it every week. So let's jump into some news. First is an update, which is it's the holidays. And we have a holiday playlist. I got together with Chris Noem from Listen Local First, which is an advocacy group for local music in DC. And we created a 4-hour playlist of holiday songs that you haven't already heard a million times before.
Oh my God, that is awesome.
Oh, it's so good. I've been using it as I was decorating for the holidays the other day, and I had it on, and I love I used to work in retail, so I am so over the normal holiday music, and this stuff makes me so happy.
Oh, that is so cool. I cannot wait.
So check that one out. The link's in your episode notes. If you just scroll in your podcast app or wherever you get, or on our website, you can check out this episode, and the link is right there for you. So check that out. And also, just an update. Our local music calendar was offline for about a month, but just sharing the news, it's back online. And the reason I'm sharing this news with you is that the radius has now been increased to a 50-mile driving radius around DC. So basically, any one of the artists that I've featured on the show, if they're playing a show in a 50-mile driving radius around DC, it's automatically going to show up there, so you can check it out. So if you haven't heard of the artist, go check it out. Click on the local music calendar, and you can go see a show if you don't already have one. But that 50-mile driving radius is exciting because it's bigger than it used to be. So it's covering even more.
That's cool.
Now, next news update is new releases. So remember, these are all available right now wherever you get your music online. And in your episode notes, there's a link to their profile on our website, which has their iTunes and Spotify links, so you can go listen to it. And of course, their website and Facebook, so you can get more information about them. So first up, Jason Massey released Capture the Heart. It's an 11-song, it's a 11-song full pop album. He's recommended if you like Amos Lee, John Mayer, or Ben Harper, you might love Jason Massey. I made it to his album release this past weekend at Tally Ho Theater in Leesburg. And man, the dude can just sing. It's sexy.
He's so vibey.
Oh my God, right?
It's so good. And his producer was my producer.
Really?
Yeah, Mark Williams.
No way.
Yeah.
I love that small world piece. Well, listen. So Jason Massey, M-A-S-I, check it out. The link's in your episode notes, so check that out. Caustic Casanova released Pantheon Volume 3. They're a 4-song, incredibly hard rock, they're a hard rock group, and it's a 4-song EP. They're recommended if you like Rush, Black Sabbath, Torch, Kyuss, or Clutch. I might have said that one wrong. K-Y-U-S-S.
Kyuss. That's right. Yeah.
It sounds right. If it's not, send me a mad comment. I'll appreciate you.
Maybe it's Cuss. I don't know.
Or it could be Cuss. It's hard rock. I don't know. Maybe it is. It's more of a cuss and less of a Kyuss. I don't know. Makeup Girl released Plans. That's a rock single. They're recommended if you like Tame Impala, The Strokes, or Frank Ocean. I've been loving Makeup Girl, and that single's nice.
That's a cool group of people to be a part of. Frank Ocean and The Strokes. Oh
I
my
know,
God,
right?
I can't wait to listen to that.
Check that one out later. Kat Janis released Pricey, which is a rock single. She's recommended if you like Amy Winehouse, Duffy, or Nora Jones. You might love Kat Janis. She's got
sounds good.
Good stuff going on. And Aria released Wave. It's a hip hop single. He's recommended if you like Russ, NF, or Young Thug. You might love Aria. And man, I'm a hip hop dude, so I really dug this song. So check that one out. And Alicia Renice released Matter, which is a 7-song R&B album. She's recommended if you like Leanne La Havas, India Arie, or Corinne Bailey Ray. You might love Alicia Renice. I've really enjoyed her album. She's got a couple covers on there, but then she's got some original stuff too. So I hope you check that out. Now in the world, I know, and you're here, and I mean, Heather, there has to be new music in your future because your music's awesome. So tell us all about the stuff.
I'm really excited because I am debuting my song Glimmer today. On this
in
episode.
5 minutes.
I'm so
goody.
I'm so excited. So I can't wait to talk about it.
Yes. Okay. And that's off an upcoming album or what?
Yeah. So my album comes out September of next year.
Oh my God.
But
You're like such a tease, but that's so far away. It's not even teasing. Wow.
Well, the single's going to come out soon. But when we decided that, when I asked to do this show during the month of December, it was because I'm doing a Kickstarter to fund the making of this record, which is called called Glimmer.
Okay.
And so I asked y'all if I could debut the single. It's not even mastered. It's just mixed.
This is your sneak preview.
This is it. And this is my town. And so I wanted to, I thought, well, what is more appropriate than to debut it on DC Music Rocks?
I'm blushing over here. Okay. Well, then we'll debut it here if you insist. God, twist my arm. Yes, absolutely. We can do that. Oh, so good. All right. And then last up is the news update, which is just to take a moment about shows. So right now, check the episode notes. We've shared our top picks for the upcoming shows to see around the DMV. You'll also find the link to our local music calendar, which is the only calendar showing you exclusively where DC's talent is playing around town. So, by the way, add a show to your calendar this week. Make it it makes a great date or a night out with friends. And also, it's also the best place to make new friends. Cause the cool part about it is if you meet them at these shows, you might actually see them again at other shows.
Yeah.
It's that local scene.
That is such a cool tool. I love it so much. Like Brian, I mean it. Like I just need to say it means a lot that you have this because it's awesome to have a calendar that's just for DC talent. I mean, because we get swamped. I mean, DC's, as you said, is such great music, but it can be swamped. We can just be like totally lost in all of the amazing acts that are coming in. So it feels awesome to have local support. It's just, so I want to say thank you for having that.
Well, thanks.
I mean
that is exactly what I wanted, you know? I mean, I'm a local artist too, and I get it. Getting the word out about your music and your shows is tough sometimes.
Yeah.
So this one is just for DC stuff.
Feels
That's why
good.
this is what we do here. So this is good. All right. We've been talking for a little bit, so let's jump into some music here. So our first track, I've got one that I wanted to share. And you know, I was listening to your vibe and the vibe of Heather May's music. I really love it. And when I heard this group submitted to me, and I'd never heard these guys before, and it's like, ooh, Heather might like these guys. So I want to share this one with you. This is Shriner, and the track is called Uh-Oh Love.
DC Music Rocks. Great jams to hear by artists from here.
And all of you made me feel so good. All of you made me feel you can have it anytime you want. Yeah, take my key so you can come and go. You can hang your head up on the ivory hood, then take the rest off slow while I take a look. Yeah, yeah, take my key so you can come and go. You can hang your head up on the ivory hood, then take a rest off slow while I take a look. Just want a little of your mind. All of you made me feel so good. All of you made me feel. All of you made me feel so good. All of you made me
There it is, the incredible sounds of Shriner, and that was Uh-Oh Love, and it's a single they released in 2018. They actually just had another one come out not long ago, but holy smokes, right?
Oh my, I cannot handle how high that man sang. It is so good.
He gets down
his
there, right?
voice is
Or up there, should I say.
It reminds me of Justin Timberlake. Like he had like that high brass,
Yeah.
you know.
And it's funny, so recommended if you like comparison would be Justin Timberlake, Maroon 5, or Lenny Kravitz. If you like those.
Lenny Kravitz, yeah, I can see
it's
that.
a good comparison. And there's 2 other songs out. So if you check them out on whatever platform you use, iTunes or Spotify, check out more from Shriner, Schreiner, or Shriner. There's a different
maybe
way.
it's Shriner. Shriner.
It's Shriner. I can't believe we're doing this on the radio right now. This is good. Yes, but
he
so a
is
little
so
more
good.
about him. So he's from Haymarket. He plays around DC and Northern Virginia. If you want to check him out, it looks like he's playing December 14th. He's at Spanky's out in Leesburg. He's a Virginia guy from Haymarket, but he also, interestingly, so he earned a degree in vocal music performance from Lee University back in 2012, and he was down in the Southeast performing. He came back to the DMV in 2015, and he formed this trio in 2016. And so that's what you just heard is one of the songs that they made. And ooh, love me some Shriners.
That was so good.
So check out more from them, of course, and check them out. I've got a profile for them. So if you, in your episode notes, if you just scroll down and click on the name Shriner or Shriner, you can look at the pronunciation and you decide how to say it. Cause I'm not sure exactly, but even if I'm not saying it right, I really love the music. So
good.
Check it out. And that said, I've got Heather May on the show. So now let's do that debut thing that we were talking about earlier. It's the world premiere. It's happening right here. What's the song?
Glimmer.
DC Music rocks.
Breathe in, breathe out, make it to the next one. Next hour, next minute, push until the next one. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm praying that it's better than the one before. 'Cause all this living is just breathe in, breathe out, make it to the next one. Oh, oh, oh.
the sweet sounds of Heather May, and the track is Glimmer. And oh my God, it gives me goosebumps that I got to play that first. It's so powerful. Wow. So what is Glimmer? Talk about that.
So Glimmer is, well, it started out from my going on the road with my last record, I Am Enough, and taking it on the road. And I actually have bipolar disorder too.
Okay.
Yep. And I never really told my fans about it because I was afraid about what it would make you. Adjusting my mic for me. I was afraid of scaring off my fans. I mean, mental illness is stigmatized in our country. Yeah. And so I was afraid of like freaking my fans out. And then I went on the road with my last record, and the amazing thing happened where my fans would come up to me after my shows or standing around my car after loading in my keyboard, and they would tell me their stories about struggling with their own mental illness. And so it made me brave. It made me write through my darkness. So I went home and started writing the next record. And instead of writing when I'm manic, which is when I am like just feeling amazing and writing 100 songs an hour, I decided to write when I am in my lows. And what came out was this collection of songs that are all around the idea of empowering those who struggle with mental illness.
That's amazing. And props to you for digging down into the dark places to write it too. Cause everybody, I mean, the dark place that everybody writes from is the love loss place, I feel like. But the places you're talking about are places people don't write from generally. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it was not easy. It was definitely hard. But what came out was this like collection of songs that are incredibly personal. Yeah. And I took it out on the road a little bit on this year. I haven't been touring as much because I've been writing. Yeah. But the shows have turned into this amazing display of community and oneness is what I've been saying, because I make my fans sing to one another. Phrases like, I'm still here. And then they look at each other and sing, you're still here. And it's, these songs, I wrote them in my pajamas. And when I was not feeling great, they were really personal, but they turned into these anthemic, empowering moments for my fans to empower one another. And it is amazing what my fans have done for my life. And so this is a record to kind of give back to them.
Wow.
Yeah.
There it is. And the song Glimmer specifically is about, that's the one we just played. What was that about?
So Glimmer is kind of all encompassing of like what this next record is going to sound like. Glimmer it's not about like the cliche, like the light in the dark. It's about like literally when you're depressed, you can't even like put your shoes on to like go get the mail. Right. And so Glimmer is about the moment when you start to have like fresh air in your lungs. And like, it's not about a light in the dark. It's about like opening up your blinds.
Okay.
It's about like opening up your door and letting in the light from the hallway come in so that your roommate knows that like you're doing okay.
Wow.
It's about like that, like real glimmer of like, I'm going to be okay. I've been here before. I'm going to be here again. I've made it through before, and I'm going to make it through again. So it's about that like realistic glimmer of hope.
That glimmer. Wow, that's powerful stuff. Well, so let me give you a proper introduction here if they don't already know you. So on DC Music Rocks, we're shining a spotlight on the great songs, artists, and incredible people behind the DC region's music scene. Heather May writes music for the light seekers and the good troublemakers. Oh, I like that, by the way, the good troublemakers, as opposed to the bad ones. It's the good ones. She's a powerhouse performer and an earth-shaking vocalist, and she's taken her personal struggle with mental health, placed it into a record and a live show, and turned her experience into a universal light force that shines for every audience member. This is not your mother's social justice music. Heather is an empowering, on-fire musical experience delivered via explosive vocals over high-energy, rhythm-heavy instrumentation that bursts in the chest of every audience member, moved to their core by her passion and message of self-love. She's been dubbed the new queer Adele by Elle Mag, which I love that title too.
Me too.
And I've been following you for a couple of years, and so the fact that now you're here sitting with me is just, oh my God, I'm beside myself because this is great.
I'm happy to be here too, Brian.
This is cool. All right, so now first we should recognize it's spelled M-A-E.
Yep.
Your last name. Has that always been like,
It's always been that way.
Passed down for centuries kind of thing? Or is that just as far as you know?
It is
or
passed
is there
down,
a story
actually.
there?
No, you're right. It is passed down. Yeah, my grandmother's, my great grandmother's, it was her first name, and then it just became like everybody's middle name, and I was like the lucky kid in my family that like got the middle name, and so I changed it to be my last.
There you go. Oh, so it's now your last name, but I see. Very good. Okay. Check out Heather. And now your connection to the DC region.
Yeah,
What
I actually
part?
grew up in Northern Virginia.
Really?
I did.
Which part?
Sterling, Virginia.
Oh,
I did.
excellent.
I went to Parkview High School.
Shout out Parkview.
Yeah, and but I live in Northeast DC now, right in a little area called Trinidad. I love it
that one.
so much.
I was going to say, there's so much personality.
I
It's
love
like one of those
Trinidad.
things where it hasn't turned over, but it's thinking about it. And it's on the way a little bit, depending on the block.
It's
I
a
don't
cool
know.
area. It really is. And there's a lot of families, and it's just it's a straight shot down to 8th Street. So you can see, go to venues like in the Atlas District and Rock and Roll Hotel, and and there's the streetcar now. And
Yep.
so I don't know. I'm really biased. I really love Northeast DC
There
way
you
more
go.
than any
Way
area.
more than any others. So all you Northeasters out there, Heather's
What
with
up?
you. That's the best. That is the best quadrant. It's all about the Northeast. That is it. Now, first of all, you talked about there's a transition happening because your first album, it seemed like it was very much more body positive. It's
Yeah.
I Am Enough was the first album.
Yep.
And it was, so talk about what that was and then the difference happening now.
Yeah, so I Am Enough was first off, so I got nodules on my vocal cords in 2013. Yeah, and it stopped everything. So I made a literal vow to myself that if I ever got the chance to do it again, I would only write music that was honest and music that might make others mad, but music that helped the world be a better place. So I started my career as a social justice artist. I sing and sang songs about, and I Am Enough, about body positivity and about fat justice and about LGBTQ equality and Black Lives Matter and immigrants and refugees and women's rights. So that's all in that record. And now this new record, Glimmer, is still a social justice record because I do talk about feminism and womanism and the Me Too movement, and LGBTQ rights. But I also am now adding in mental health advocacy, because the fact of the matter is that too many people are affected by suicide and suicidal thoughts. And I know my fans, because of going out on the road and hearing their stories, that it's time that I step up, because I know my fans are hurting. And so I thought, well, what if I actually made like a tool that they could put in their toolkit to take out when they're hurting? Oh my God. What an even like better way of like validating this experience of being a musician, which is not easy.
Yeah.
What if I created something that like really helped people?
Yeah.
And I Am Enough did that. I totally and completely changed everything, the way I connected with my fans when I started writing music that was about social justice. And so I thought, well, what's my next step? And then I heard their stories. It made me brave. And so I wrote Glimmer, and that's where
Wow.
it began.
And now you say we should talk about you're raising money for this now, or what's the
Yes.
platform is?
So I'm doing Kickstarter. I'm
Kickstarter?
raising funds right now for Kickstarter, and I just looked at my phone, and it's only been live for 4 days, and I've already raised 40% of my
Holy
funding.
smokes, Heather, that's
I know,
amazing.
And I'm raising $25,000.
Wow.
I know. This is,
So-
I knew my fans were going to like show up, but I didn't realize how very unalone I am in my need for mental health music. I don't even know what to say. I don't know what's happening. I'm very overwhelmed right now because of all the messages I've been receiving in the comments, because the video for the Kickstarter is actually not like a standard Kickstarter. It's a video where it's like, hello, my name's Heather May. I'm a singer-songwriter. I want to make a record. Help me. It's actually a music video.
Wow.
And I don't actually talk about the record until like the end.
There you
And the
go.
reason I did that was because I wanted to like show what the sound of the record is, which is what you just heard, which is Glimmer.
Yeah.
And it is a step away from my older sound. It's bigger. It's a closer step to like alternative pop,
Sure.
less singer-songwriter, that like singer-songwriter folky sound. And whoa, I did not expect that.
We're going to, obviously I'm going to put the link in the episode notes here so you can check out the Kickstarter. You can see the video. And of course, please support Heather in her quest to do this for sure.
That would be amazing.
No, wait a minute. You talked about like when you're performing, there's a lot happening in what we heard there.
Yeah.
When you're performing, what's a live show? If they go see you live, what's that like?
So the amazing thing about this like new step in this next record is that I am now exclusively touring with a band and a backing band and two.
Really?
Yes. And I love
Because I've
them.
heard stories about you where it's just you and your keyboard, like you were saying earlier.
So I when I play solo, it's me and my keyboard, and I am very rhythm heavy with my keyboard. So like I slap the keys and I like.
You are an almost violent performer.
I am. I actually once broke a keyboard on stage, which was awesome and terrifying at the same time, because it was like in the middle of like a competition in upstate New York, this competition called Falcon Ridge, and I was in the middle of playing my song Hero, where I just lay into the keyboard to turn it into a drum, and I just totally shredded the keyboard completely. It was annihilated, and it stopped, and you could hear it was like in the audience, it was like, and then there was like this quiet sound, and I was like, oh. Well, I think I broke a keyboard, and I looked over to the side to the stage crew, and I said, "Do you guys have another one?" And they were like stunned, like looking at me like, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna get you." So they run to the back, and I look out in the audience, and there's like 1,000 people in this audience right now. And so I look out in the audience, and I say, "Well, it's just you and me. So, what you want to hear?" Oh my God! So yeah, I have been known to break some keyboards. Oh my God. I forgot about that story until now.
So
Woo!
good.
That was a good one.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right. Now wait a minute. Now talk about you on the personal side. So outside of this music thing, what else is Heather's life like?
I do a lot of self-care. Honestly, it's 2018. I turned 30 this year, and it was like it's like the year of Heather May. I finally, after being in this business for so long, I'm like just going out on tour and not taking care of myself, and then like shredding my voice and like not being kind to the person that I am. It's like this is the year where like I'm finally figuring out, oh, this is how you do this business. So when I'm not playing music, I'm like taking dance lessons, and I do yoga, and I cook with my wife, which is so fun.
Nice.
I, for so long, thought I was a terrible cook, so I just like didn't do it. And now I'm like game on. I love cooking. I'm like stellar with a pot roast. And like my wife and I just started, we've gone through like so many different versions of cookbooks. We just finished a cookbook, a paleo cookbook. And then we did, not because of dieting, but like just literally, we just want to try different cuisines.
Yeah,
and we just
try the different stuff.
Yeah, we just finished cooking, doing a pho cookbook, and oh my God, so I love cooking. So it's a lot of stuff that's like involved with like what helps my mental health, you know?
Okay.
So yeah, so I've been doing a lot of stuff like that. And then like I've been really getting into, my like woo woo side of me, which I don't know if you know what that is, Ryan, but
I do know what that is. Actually,
woo-woo.
I can say yes.
I have been really getting into like spirituality, and my fans, I started like talking about it on my Instagram, and my fans are here for it. They are stoked about me like coming into like my witchy.
Come into your woo woo. You are coming into your woo woo.
So yeah, so I've been like really in love with like crystals and like books on like witchy stuff, and then like, you know, Buddhism or and like trying and like meditation and incorporating all of those things with like yoga.
Okay.
So that's
all
kind of what
the
I'm
different
into.
Things. Holy smokes. There's so much there that I want to ask some more, and I don't have time. But the one question that I always have to ask, and it's my favorite one, and I can't wait for you to tell me, which is, if you could offer one piece of advice, what would it be?
For musicians?
Take it however you like.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to do the not the musician thing. I'm going to do, for people in their mental health, because that's like kind of what I'm doing right now.
Tell us.
My advice would be to find a group of people who are open with their mental illness. And if that means that you need to be the one to open it up,
Yep.
be that vulnerable person, because there is no one thing that fixes mental illness or specifically depression, bipolar disorder, manic depression. There's no one thing. But there is one thing that always helps, which is community. And so I've been really, really focused, this year on building community in my fans. Like helping them.
Okay.
So like,
Yeah.
cause I don't know what it's like for them when they go home.
Yeah.
And so I want to create a safe space for them so that they have community. So sharing with people around you, what you're going through, and then finding that group and being vulnerable, because then you have people around you who understand. You have a safe space to go to, and they have a safe space to go to when they're struggling. So that is my advice: is
Find that
let
community.
yourself be vulnerable.
And let yourself be vulnerable. I feel like that's a common message, and yet people don't do it. So
No, we don't, but
you
we
just got to keep
need
saying
to.
it. Yeah. You got to
We need
keep
to have
reinforcing it.
community, yeah.
That's good. Well, Heather, if they want to find out more about, so obviously we'll have the link and everything,
Yeah.
but if they want to find out more about you and all the amazing things happening with Heather May, where's the best place for them to go?
So honestly, the best place to go is my Instagram. I'm not going to lie. They could go to heathermay.net. They could go to my website, or they could go to my Instagram, which is Heather May Music, MAE. And that is where you can find the link to my Kickstarter. And then all my music too.
There it is. So we'll check out more. And now one of the things when you're a guest on the show, you got to bring great music with you. And Heather definitely did. So let's play one of those. Heather, what do you have for us first?
So the first one I have is an artist called Shade, and this is their song Melt.
DC Music rocks. Tune in, jam on, rock out.
What's the difference if it's all good? What's the difference if I'm all tied up now? I get used to it all. Guess I'm taking the fall. What's the difference if I can't get up now? No, it wasn't right to pretend you were the lie. Can't tell my feelings from my pose. Wait, now you're dressing me in chains, calling every move I make. Now you're begging me to smile, but I can't fake. Thought the point was to create. I can barely feel myself, like I'm frozen in the ice. Wish I could melt. What's the difference? What's the difference if it's all good, honey? Try to float, but it's too cold and heavy. Sinking down evermore. Can't get up from the floor. What's the difference if I'm all messed up now? No, it wasn't right to pretend you were the lie. Can't tell my feelings from my bones. Wait, now you're dressing me in chains, calling every move I make. Now you're begging me to smile, but I can't fake. Thought the point was to create. I can barely feel myself, like I'm frozen in the ice. Wish I could melt. Wait, now you're dressing me in chains, calling every move I make. Now you're begging me to smile, but I can't fake. Thought the point was to create. I can barely feel myself, like I'm frozen in the ice. Wish I could melt. 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 Wish I
the amazing sounds of Shade. Shaed. Shade. And the track is Melt. That's a single that they released. And oh my God, Heather, you talked about them. And then sometimes people are like, oh, you should check out this song. And I just kind of go into it. And then I get bowled over by the music because man, it's good.
Yep.
And Shade was one of those ones. They're from the suburbs of DC, but they tour nationally now. I mean, they're recommended if you like Marion Hill or Verite or Bishop Briggs. Oh my God. But their whole collection is big. They're top. I mean, they're up over 4 million streams on their top song on Spotify. They're touring nationally. Wow. Thanks for bringing them in. Talk about those guys.
Yeah, I love them. So I actually found out about them through a fan of mine who introduced them and said that your new stuff is starting to sound a bit like them. I checked them out and oh my God, then they were local, which is amazing to hear.
Yeah, right. They're here.
They're awesome. Like there is a huge like folk Americana community in here, and there's a huge like rock scene here.
Yeah.
But in terms of like well-known pop artists, we don't have as many as like Americana and folk, and
that's true.
And so when I found them, I became obsessed with their sound because it's so it's a bit futuristic and just vibey, and like their live show is like I think also a lighting show, and like
oh geez, yeah,
it's 3 of them and they're so good, and
I found out when I was reaching out to them that it turns out the band lives together in a home in the suburbs of DC. It's Chelsea and Spencer recently got married, and then there's Max, and Max and Spencer are identical twins, so it's twins, and then Chelsea is Spencer's wife. And that's awesome.
I know.
Like, wow, what a cool life you have. Like, oh, what do you do? Well, I go to happy hour after work, or my wife and I do this or whatever. I mean, people's stories, that's what you think, right? Oh, we're in the whatever. And they're like, oh no, we tour the country and like play music together. My brother and my wife. Wow. That's wow. So
and
good.
they're so talented, and their music is so big and emotional, and it's like the future of pop, and I love them so much.
There it is. So check out Shade. I got a profile for them, so you can obviously, in the episode notes, you can just click on their name and it'll take you to their profile in my DC Artist database, so you can read more about them and their links and find them and stuff. And then, of course, check out more of their music because, wow, it's really, really good. There's a song called Trampoline that you need to listen to. So check that one out. Now, I got one more that I want to share. I've never played this one. I love playing new art. For you listening, I'm always playing stuff you've never heard before and artists you've never heard before. And this is another one that I had that came in and I really enjoy. It's Miotiga. I'm going to call it Miotiga.
Yeah.
I think. And this is the song, Is It Enough?
DC Music rocks.
Excited. Is the boat by the lake, is it big enough?
There it is. It's Mio Tiga, I found out. Mio Tiga, and the track is It Enough? And that's off her, I don't know whether it's a debut album, but 3 a.m. just came out in the last couple months. I mean, this is a new release, but such a fan. If you like Sade, you might love more from Mio Tiga. She's in Northeast, so you got another Northeaster for you. This is her, and she's got music videos out. There's so much happening. I feel like there's just a lot happening with her right now. So I love that I finally shared her with you. She's a little indie, a little hip hop, I mean, it's almost kind of jazzy. I mean, it's so smooth, but it's so good.
Yeah.
I love Mio Tiga. So check out more from her, Miotiga. You can check out her album online. And of course, in her profile, I've got a lot more information for you. So I hope you check out more from her. And we've got one more song, but before we do, I want to stop and pause a moment and just say thanks. Heather, here's what I love. I love that you are totally putting yourself out there with the just huge, totally vulnerable, like, yes, this is me. Love me or hate me. I don't care what you think. This is still me. Keep coming at me. I'm still going to keep coming at you. Like, I mean, it's such a powerful thing. I've been following you on social media for a while, and there's been some of the body positivity stuff, and like somebody will make fun of you, and then you like sick all your fans on them. And then you're like, yeah, this dumb just kind of called me out about my swimsuit or so. I mean, it's like, oh man, there's been so many things over the time that I've been following you that have just either made me smile or made me laugh or made me it's one of those, God, Heather is just so good. And then at the same time, all the music is good. And I love that you're doing what you're doing and you're not quitting and you're doing this thing. So tell them one more time, if they want to find out more about you, where do they go in the Kickstarter too?
So they go to the Kickstarter link is bit.ly / be the glimmer. It's a very simple link.
Okay.
Yep. And then they can just go to my Instagram, Heather May Music, MAE, Heather May Music. That has all that information. It's even like a link directly to the Kickstarter. Or if they want to just go old school, they can go to my website, heathermay.net.
heathermay.net. There it is. And
Thanks for having me,
there's a song upcoming shows if they want to see you live.
So I've got one. I don't play a lot in DC. I play only 2 shows a year.
Okay.
So I've got one on January 12th, actually, with the next artist that I brought in.
Yes.
Chris Matthews. And you guys have played together before. I can't wait to talk about her. But first, where's the show? It's actually at a house concert series in a theater called the Creative Cauldron.
Oh.
I've never played it before, but it's in Falls Church. And it's a gorgeous theater. So all that information is up on my website.
Check it out. And listeners, I play drums for the DC rock band Fellowcraft. And since I am a DC musician, I consider it such a treat to share these guests like Heather May and this great music from right here in DC with you each week. Remember, we have resources for you too. This community is offline as well, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. On DCMusicRocks.com, you have access to a database of more than 400 DC region artists to help you find more music that you'll love from right here in town. And we also have a calendar to help you attend great shows happening all over the DC area in a 50-mile radius now. It's all around. So the bottom line is, I just want to say thanks. Thanks for following DC's music. Thanks for supporting DC's musicians. And most importantly, thanks for listening. Next week, I have Kat Janis. I told you she had a new single that just came out called Pricey, and she's going to be on the show, and I can't wait to get to know her as well. But now we got one more song, and this is Chris Matthews, or it's Matthews, right?
No,
or
just Matthews.
Matthews? Okay. So it's Chris Matthews, and man, I've been loving Chris Matthews for a long time. Talk about Chris.
So Chris is actually a buddy of mine. Chris played at my wedding, and we have been playing music together for a really long time.
Wait, when did you get married?
I got married this April.
Oh, so April 2018?
Yeah, 2018.
Okay.
So Chris is a folk singer-songwriter and social justice songwriter, and just a buddy of mine. We do social justice music and protest music together and activism work. And this song that I'm going to have play is a song called We Must Be Free, and it is my favorite song of Chris's. Well, you'll know what it's about. It's about Black Lives Matter. And it's actually, an old slave song, that Chris had taken, and turned into her own. And it's really powerful. And
And Chris, I should say, the day that I fell in love with Chris I follow all you guys on YouTube, and I was following her on YouTube, and one of her videos came up, and I was watching it, and she said, she was talking about her story, and she's like, I'm I don't remember the word said, but all the wrong things. She's like, I'm black, I'm a lesbian, I'm left-handed, I wear glasses.
I'm black, I'm a woman.
Yeah.
I'm black, I'm a woman, I'm a lesbian, and she expresses masculine, and so meaning sure that her clothes are typically like what society would say is masculine, and so all of that, it's just she's like, I am the perfect like storm of marginalization.
Yep. Absolutely.
And just Chris is just an amazing activist as well, and so she uses her music for shining light on issues that need to be shined on.
There it is. And we should note you spell it Crys. That's Chris Matthews. And well, let's play the track and bring it home. Thanks for being here, Heather. What is this one?
This one is Chris Matthews, We Must Be Free.
DC Music rocks.
They say that freedom is a constant struggle. They say that freedom is a constant struggle. They say that freedom is a constant struggle. Oh Lord, we've struggled so long. We must be free. We must be free. Black lives matter. Oh yes, they do. And yes, of course, all lives do too. But they don't see me the way they see you. You reach for your ID, they smile. I reach for mine, they shoot. They say that freedom is a constant crying. They say that freedom is a constant crying. They say that freedom is a constant crying. Oh Lord, we've cried so long. We must be free, we must be free. Black lives matter. Why can't you see? What makes you less afraid of them than you are of us, than you are of me? Protect and serve us, not kill and hurt us. Oh Lord, how many black lives will it take before that thin blue line turns purple? They say that freedom is a constant sorrow. They say that freedom is a constant sorrow. They say that freedom is a constant sorrow. Oh Lord, we've sorrowed so long. We must be free, we must be free. Black lives matter, both young and old. So many names on my heart, and yet so many stories left untold. When will it end, Lord? When will it end? Tell me, why does it feel like it's 1968 all over again? They say that freedom is a constant moaning. They say that freedom is a constant moaning. They say that freedom is a constant moaning. Oh Lord, we've moaned so long. We must be free, we must be free. Black lives matter. Don't you turn away. Oh, rise up, call out injustice, say their names. I'm no safer, no, not at all. It could just as well be my name that's the next one on the wall. They say that freedom is a constant dying. They say that freedom is a constant dying. They say that freedom is a constant dying. Oh Lord, Lord, we've died so long. We must be free.
Thank you so much for listening to DC Music Rocks. Useful links and information about this episode can be found on the website dcmusicrocks.com. Tune in, jam on, rock out.